Hey YouTube, Sugar Bytes has brought us a lot of great apps over the years. The latest is Factory, which is billed as a modular, and I don't think that's necessarily a fair way to characterize this. There's a lot of ways to play with it. It's definitely modulatable, but I don't think that you're going to have a modular experience in here. There's not enough sound sources to play with, but there is a lot to play with, so we shall do that. But before we do, I got a special request. I've noticed that over the last several months, last year or so, my videos have only been about a tenth of the views that I have of subscribers. So I'm obviously getting fucked by YouTube's algorithm, and I don't really care that much because I'm getting paid from Patreon anyhow, so fuck it. If this gets 200 views, all right. It doesn't matter to me. I still get paid, right? But I'm getting a little irked with this whole YouTube algorithm just completely hosing me. So I'd like to try tweaking with the algorithm, okay? So if you could do me a favor, dislike this video. If everybody dislikes this video, let's see what that does to the algorithm, and maybe we'll learn something. I don't know. But let's get into this. The sound sources that you have are a couple of different oscillators, and they are many and varied in the ways that they can perform. You've got a pulse, which is like a square, a saw, fractal saws, and all kinds of other great stuff in here. But there's also these wavetables and transformers. So in these wavetables, bring up one of my favorites. Jesus, there's within the wavetable we've got like dozens and dozens of other things. Let's see, was it interval? Yeah, here we go. This X valve is particularly amusing. So we use this mixer now to take out oscillator 2, and now we're just listening to oscillator 1, which is on wavetable, pulse width modulation, X valve, and we can cycle through this wave with this wave knob. A lot of great tones in that, and we've got this big matrix of modulations available to us on this big right panel here, and we can say things like, well, let's throw the LFO or one of the LFOs at, oops, I sent that at the wrong one, at oscillator 1's A knob, and you see that now both of the knobs are going. I accidentally sent it to B2. To clear that out, I just double tap it, and you make these spheres by gently either pressing down and raising your finger, or gently pressing down and lowering your finger, because if you do this ham-fisted, you're just gonna get this big old thing and it's whopping all over the place. It's no good. So double tap to clear any mistakes. But now we've got this gentle LFO1 kind of playing through on that wave, and we can slow that down a bit. I want to reduce the amount it's doing that too. Just trying to get the idea of movement in there. That's a little too little. Just find a sweet spot for that. So we've already got like this really tonal thing that's moving around and doing things. Let's move on to the second oscillator here. I'll bring out the first so we can listen to this. And over here we've got another thing that's particularly amusing to me. Let me show the FM format real quick here. This is also amusing to me, but it's not the thing I wanted to show you. Formant filters are when you take a bunch of peaks along the vowels that people speak. So I think what this is doing is it's FM that's being filtered through at those vowel points, those formants. So listen to this thinking about vowels, and maybe it'll make more sense. We're going from ooh to ee. So yeah, that's amusing. There's all kinds of different ways of screwing around with this, with the ratio, like you would in FM synthesis. Going up higher gets a higher note, and going below 1 gets lower and lower. And doing anything that's not a whole number is going to be discordant. So here we're at 1. You see, it's not sounding weird. It's just kind of like a sine wave. But as soon as we change that to anything that's not a whole number, we get more tones in this. We'll add some feedback. Shift that around. This thing is a lot of fun to play with, especially with this drive here. Oh, I'm also in a comb, which is adding more to that. Let me switch this over to low pass. Oh, whoops. I need to... That's what these switches down here do, is let it know if you're trying to get it to the filter. So yeah, that's not even what I wanted to show you. It's just really damned amusing. But what I did want to show you was this transformer, which takes a sample and it provides a whole bunch, or you can add your own. This default, though, this bass slap, is great. Let me... And once again, we got a formant here where we can take it from ooh to e. And we've got a lot of ways that we can manipulate this now with this modulation matrix. We can play around with its position by selecting oscillator 2, in this case it's C. So if I throw LFO 2 at this, you'll see, I thought it was 2C. I swear I've played with this before. Maybe it's D? Oh, wait, no, that's right. We do with by the position. All right, so 2B is already assigned, so I'll use that. And now you can see this, the knob is moving, so it's also changing the position in the waveform. And that's moving way too damn much, so let's bring that down. But we want it to move a bit. Pump it over here. It's important to note that this drive is affecting everything that's going through the filter, or if you just send it straight to the drive. So either way, the drive is affecting things. So keep that in mind. You don't want it to get too crazy. And there's several different types you can use. I like leaving on the tube. I like the warmth that that's adding. God damn it. I just keep bringing up this MIDI thing whenever I'm trying to tweak things. So that's an interesting sort of grading effect that we're getting with this LFO. And the LFO is a smooth action, right? Like it's gently going back and forth, back and forth. But let's try now doing something that's less gentle, because we've also got the sequencer in here. And we can do things like just throw in random shit and tell it to send sequencer 2 at oscillator 2B. Not too much again. And you see it's only going up the plus. We can change that by tapping this. Now it goes plus to minus. And you hear how that's now getting a rhythmic sort of gating sound to it. Let me switch this back into just plus mode because it's a little easier to do what I'm going to do next, which is to really actually draw in a pattern of things. So I'm going to bring everything down to a baseline and then poke holes in it that's kind of a rhythm or something. And now I'm going to change these types of gates, because right now they're just full gates. We can change this to any one of these number of shapes. So you can do something particularly weird right here. can hear how that kind of makes it glitch out, because it's this sharp spike that goes straight back down. Now we could do a kind of a curve. And maybe some of that. It's reminding me of really early like 60s electronic radio stuff that I'm not sure exactly what it's reminding me of. It's something back in the early days of radio where something was going wrong. Let me try a different type of ramp here, going down. So, like, I know that very few of the things that I show in here are radio ready, but this is particularly weird, and I think that it's worth pointing out right now. Like, I'm trying to talk to you. I'm not trying to make a banger, as they say. I want to point out, though, that I'm accomplishing what I'm setting out to do, which is a rhythm is occurring in the sequence. Okay, so it's not gonna get your head bobbing. But that is a rhythm that is occurring within the sequence that's fucking with the bass slap sample. And we could do other things like maybe send LFO2 at that A to change the format a little bit. Oh, whoops, I said for a really hard time with this matrix. God damn it, I did it again. I imagine people on iPad minis are going to have a really hard time with this thing, because even with a regular sized iPad, this is tricky. All right, I mostly just wanted to show off the sequencer and how you can do weird shit with it, then throw that into modulation, and then have that modulate all kinds of different things. I want to move on from that, though. Actually going to go back to the FM format for the rest of this, because that was sounding good out of the box. Let me make it sound better. So right now that we've still got that assignment of the sequencer doing weird stuff to whatever is the B knob of Oscillator 2. So let's pull down that feedback a bit. Let's knock the tuning on that down an octave. Let's make it half an octave. God damn. So in this context, we can hear that this weird-ass sequence is tweaking the feedback in ways that are just adding a little bit of life to this. Okay, it's adding a hell of a lot of life to this. What would be just this growl. It's now got wobbly weirdness going on. We could also try assigning that same wobbly weirdness to the cutoff on the filter. Or not. Let's bring back Oscillator 1. And we've also got this sub, which we can assign using this top menu thing here to say, base this sub oscillator off of the pitch of oscillator 1 or the pitch of oscillator 2. And since I'm kind of doing a bass sub with the second oscillator already, basing it off the second one will push it way too far. So let's try putting a square off of oscillator 1's pitch and see how that sounds. Just a little bit of that oscillator 2 is sounding phenomenal here. Like, that's that gritty little bit that's at the very low end. I really like that. Let me move on now to the effects. These are quite interesting because you can assign a lot of different effects to any of these 3 slots, and then you can move them around. And you can affect any of these. So wherever you see one of these triangles, oh shit. Wherever you see one of these triangles is something that you can assign from the modulation matrix. So you see we've got the FX at the bottom of the modulation matrix. So I've got FX1, 2, and 3. I can say things like, let's throw LFO1 at FX1. And because I've got this triangle highlighted, it's now modulating that, and you see that animated there. I really like playing with the time on these delays that are stereo, but even more so with this reverse delay. It's very weird. And there's a compressor in here. Let's throw all of it into a reverb. You can really hear what that delay is now doing now that that's going completely wild over here. So that is a really moody thing that I have made with only a few of these modulations, right? Like as weird as this app is, what I've created here is relatively tame. So let's show you now how easy it is to make this really weird in a hurry by using this morph thing. I hit the record button, so now it's recorded that all of this stuff that I've set right now, that is morph A. If I go over to morph B, anything I change now while the record is on is going to be assigned to that, and it's going to automatically swap around. So like I can show you quickly with the cutoff here. So now when I go from A to B, the cutoff is moving around. So let's put that back up here, and instead what I'm going to do is play with these dice that's on the modulation matrix. And whoops, that's a little too much. Oh, it's going to mutate. God damn it. Oh, I'm failing at some sort of fundamental understanding right now. I don't remember why. Was it tweak? Oh man, in my testing it did not behave like that. Like, that's super weird. Why would I ever want it to go crazy like that? It was giving me more of a randomization of things rather than everything to max. God, that is super weird. Oh well, let's do this manually here. Is that... Oh, still completely freaking out. God damn. Alright, so yeah, I'll just manually throw in some random things at the FX here, and maybe assign the envelope to cutoff, and then send something to screw with the envelope. Let's use LFO oh, we got LF2, and I'll use LFO2 to screw with that. And once again, when we go over to the modulators, you see these arrows. That's how we're assigning things. So I've just basically got it maxed out with this insane decay. And now that decay is going to be modulated by the LFO. Let's really make that crazy. Oh, that's not going to work because it's we're only hearing it as it's pressed, and we're not hearing that change. So let's instead ask her. I've got enough random things going on right now. So this is what it sounds like on A. So I'm about to do something crazy. And before I do that, I want to show you how to save your presets, because if you change it, like if you double tap this O in factory, it's going to go to a random preset, and anything you change, you're going to lose. So to save your preset, you just hit this thing up, this folder up in the top right, and then you can name it things and stuff by hitting the new folder icon that pops up, and then you can save it as a new preset. So let's play. All right. So what I wanted to do is actually screw around with these randomizers now. And does it do that? Yeah, that's a global change. So I was hoping that was only going to be on the B or... Oh, shit, I did that well. I'm kind of fucking up a little bit on this Let's Play. So it's a good thing you've all given this a dislike, because this is obviously subpar. But to be honest, I'm getting a little flustered with just all the different complex things I want to show off here. So let me try now again. Recording on this B. Man, I really wish I knew why that's doing that. Let's hear what that sounds like. Yeah, that's about what I expected. All right. Does it record these changes, or is that a global thing? It looks like that's a global thing. I like how hollow it sounds there. All right, I think I've broken it enough. Play around with this dice, because I swear it's never behaved like this in any of my previous testing. I must be doing something that I'm missing right now. Okay, that's reset. Oh, okay. Huh. I got an idea. I was gonna call it quits because my nose is itching really bad right now, but I am curious to see what's going to happen when I do this. So, oh shit. Okay. Oh. Well, that's very odd, because I definitely did not save this preset with all of these different modulations here. Maybe it was just the graphic that was screwing up and it was actually behaving correctly. Well, damn, that's quite interesting. Got this kind of menacing thing that grows and has some grunt going on. This morph just makes it go nuts. Oh god, this is amusing the hell out of me. I don't know if you're as amused by this as I am. You're probably not. It's one of those things where I'm in the zone. I'm doing sound design, and it's tickling my eardrums in goofy ways that amuse me. So I I'm glad that you've all disliked this video because obviously this was a train wreck. And I'm deeply sorry to all of my patrons who make these videos possible. My God, my nose is driving me nuts right now. But seriously though, thank you very much to all my patrons. And let's see how screwing around with the YouTube algorithm affects things. Take it easy, folks.